My collection. My beautiful collection. I have more games here than some people will see in a lifetime. But there's a problem with that. You see, once you start getting up there in numbers, once you start getting up around 5, 6, 700 games, you start to realize something. You start to realize that all of these games, whether a first-person shooter, action platformer, or a horror game, they all can fit into 4 categories. They're the great games, the ones that everybody talks about. There's Shovel Knight, a great game for the PlayStation 4, Wii U, and Xbox One. There's the Batman games, the Batman Arkham games. Great games, great beat 'em ups. Hell, Super Mario Bros. 3, and even the Legend of Zelda games. All great games. But then there are those 3 categories. The 3 people usually look away from. These games are the ones we'll be looking at today. These are the good, the bad, and the shit. Yes, hello everyone. Today we'll be looking at the good, the bad, and the shit when it comes to video games. Today we'll be looking at games on the Nintendo Entertainment System, the first home console brought to you by Nintendo themselves. So, where do we start? Well, we'll be starting today with the good. And today's game, Tetris. Welcome to the show. Now before you rip my head off, let me explain. Tetris as it stands is a great game. It's so much fun to play. However, there are a few flaws on the NES Tetris port that have been ironed out since the original release. The biggest one is the 2-player mode, and the fact that there isn't one. You see, Tetris is fun to play 2-player, and with every other release that I've played, there is 2-player, save for the Game Boy release, due to the fact that you can only have one person on a console at a time. So if you wanted to do 2-player, you had to do it one of 2 ways. Either have 2 TVs, 2 NES systems, and 2 versions of Tetris, or have one person go and then the other person go, remembering the score of the first player. Another small issue that's definitely nitpicking is the level 1 color scheme. Is it me or does it look like pure puke? Now Tetris definitely is a good game. I own it on the NES as well as PC and many different versions across many different consoles. Tetris is actually so popular that just recently I went to a discount store and I picked up this. Not just a box. This is a handheld game system called the 9999 Games in One. Now, this is the console itself, and personally I wouldn't recommend it. The plastic is very cheap, and the screen is worse than the original Game Boy, and that's saying something. If anything moves on this screen, there is so much ghosting and your character disappears. But it is just funny, in my opinion, to see how popular Tetris is. But anyway, now to look at our bad game of the day. Today, that bad game is known as Mickey Mouscapade by Capcom. Mickey Mousecapade is a very hard game to describe. It's a very slow-moving action platformer, starring Mickey and Minnie Mouse. When you jump in the game, you find that A makes you jump, and B doesn't do shit, until you get the star, which then you can shoot things. And this isn't some power-up similar to the Mario Flower. This is a necessary part of the game, and even when you die, you retain the star power. So why didn't they give you the bloody thing in the beginning? It makes absolutely no sense. Why do I have to go to a different room to get a power I'm gonna have for the rest of the game? While we're on the subject of questioning this game, why in God's name is Minnie there? All she does is double your hitbox, and all she should do is be like Tails in Sonic 2, a second player character that really has no distinct meaning behind them, but is just sort of there for the little brother to play if they want to play the game. However, in Sonic 2, if Tails takes a hit, Sonic doesn't, it's no big deal. And in the second level, when there's more intense platforming than walking up and down a hotel, if Minnie falls into the water, you both die. Speaking of the second level, what is this shit? How am I supposed to avoid this? It's nearly impossible to beat the second level. And even better, so Mickey Mousecapade is definitely a bad game and should really not be on your list for games that you have to pick up. But if you're in the mood for torturing yourself, well, you always could pick up this last game. Now, what really pisses me off about this game is the possibilities that are there beyond what they gave us. Now, when I saw this game, I had so many thoughts. I want you all to think of them while I tell you the title of this game. The name of the game is Dynowarz. Destruction of Spondilius. Dynowarz pisses me off. When I saw this, I thought of the possibilities. A Primal Rage fighter on the NES, or a beat 'em up with so many great ideas. What do I get? A shitty, poor excuse for a platforming beat 'em up with shitty controls and shitty jump mechanics. As you jump, you do a slight duck, then a jump. Every time as this weird guy who's obviously not a dinosaur. Then you get into a mech suit that looks like a dinosaur and do the same jump. I get they're going for realism, but how the hell is this good game design? Yes, you get more of a jump by ducking and then jumping, but it's a video game, people. Just give me the damn jump. Then you go out into the world of dinosaurs, and you have to kill everything. And by kill, I mean awkwardly wave your tiny T-Rex arm until they die. Then you get some power-ups. They are even worse. First, you have the arm, where you shoot your arm off, and you have no way to protect yourself until it comes back. The Legend of Zelda had this right before Dynowarz came out. In Legend of Zelda, if you shoot your sword, you still have your sword to protect you until that shot goes away. It might not seem like a big deal because it's only a few seconds where your arm is gone, but it's long enough that you can die by getting hit by everything, especially the little dinosaurs that are extremely hard to hit. Then there's the missile. It shoots in an arc that never hits anything. It shoots straight up, moves 4 pixels in front of you, and drops down. It is impossible to hit something with this. The best power-up in the game, Dynowarz is complete shit and doesn't deserve anything more than to be burnt. If this game didn't cost me $7 in the shop, I would have definitely burned it by now. But then again, I'd be wasting $7 and I'd have one less game on my shelf. So that's my reasoning. Don't judge me. Anyway, that's all for this episode. I would like to thank you all. Please like, subscribe, share this on Facebook and Twitter. It helps out a lot. And I will see you all in the next episode.